the Eastern Conference is not just wide open and it's not just up for grabs for anybody, but it's going to be so fun and competitive from here until the end of the season. Until June, there are about 6 teams in the East, maybe 7, debatably 8, that really have action. And, the Cavaliers basically won the trade deadline. They got James Harden, Dennis Schroeder, Keon Ellis. Then you have the Pistons, who have just been running all through not just the East, they've been running through the NBA, and they are the best team in the East. Then you have the New York Knicks, who they have their highs, Jalen Brunson, Karl Anthony Towns, OG, Mikal Bridges, and then they have their lows where sometimes it feels like maybe this team is just a fraud. Then you have Mars, Joel Embiid, and Tyrese Maxey, potentially the best 1-2 punch in the East. Then you have a certain guy named Jaylen Brown who's been playing at an MVP level. But, chill, they've just been gifted one of the best players in the NBA in Jason Tatum.
Here you go. Here you go. Have this.
And then last but least, shout out to Penn, you got the Toronto Raptors, who have a pretty dynamic team and one of the best pieces in the league defensively. And they got a pretty good offensive piece too in Brandon Ingram. However, fellas, the East is up for grabs and it's going to be very competitive. I want to hear you guys' thoughts on what you feel about the East, especially with the return of Jason Tatum, with the moves that the Cavs have made, the way that the New York Knicks are playing, and just everything in general. What's our thoughts?
Chill. It's interesting, Ron, you bring up Philly because Philly's been an afterthought. And nobody is really talking about Philly. I understand why Joel Embiid's been out of lineup. They've dropped now to the 8 seed. At one point, I believe they were as high as the 4 seed. And this wasn't that long ago, but they've dropped to the 8 seed. The Miami Heat, I mean, to Bam's point, we're better than the play-in tournament. I mean, they're game out the 5 spot. I think the 5, 6, 7 spot is only separated by 1 game. They're actually scoring better, but I'm not going to jump out the window like everybody else. The Celtics are the overwhelming favorites. No, they're not. I mean, I don't think that we, as fans, understand how difficult it is, not just to make the playoffs, but to actually make a legit playoff run. And when you make a legit playoff run and you go deep into the playoffs and you're going up against better teams who scheme against all of your faults, those things come out and they come out loud. And a guy like Jason Tatum, who's still trying to work his way back into basketball shape, he looks a little heavy for me, but he still knows how to play basketball. I think that
Tatum looks heavy.
He looks a little bit heavy up top, and I think I feel like a lot of it is due to him not being able to run, and because he wasn't able to run, a lot of the strength training he was doing was upper body stuff. So it looks like he got a little heavy for me. Now there's a difference between fat and heavy, Swiper. So heavy is, I feel like he put on some weight in terms of muscle.
So he don't know the difference.
And I feel like with him, I feel like he could stand to lose about maybe 10 pounds, maybe 15, because I think his playing weight is like maybe 220, 225. He looked like he about 240. He looks huge to me. I don't know if it's me, but he looks really big. And I think that as the season goes, on, I mean, I think that he can play his way into better shape, but I'm not jumping out the window thinking that this Celtic team is now the overwhelming favorite. I did like what I saw from them defensively. But in terms of the East, I don't think the East is as wide open as Ron says it is. I think that there's a few teams that I would not be surprised to see them there at the end. Cleveland, Detroit, Boston. I don't really have much faith in Toronto, if I'm being honest with you. Miami, I'd be surprised if they were there at the end. But Spo just has a way of, when the playoffs start, he knows how to coach and how to get guys in spaces where they need to be, especially considering what happened yesterday. I don't know, Ron. I don't think the Eastern Conference is as wide open as you think, but I love the fact that it's as competitive as it is right now. It hasn't been this competitive for me, where I'm uncertain about who's going to win it in a long time.
Chill. Wide open might not be the word anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It might still be kind of just how you said. It might be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm chill. I gotta admit, I've given the Eastern Conference a lot of flack this year.
Yes, you have.
I've talked a lot of crap about the Eastern Conference. I'm more excited to watch the Eastern Conference in the playoffs than I am the Western Conference.
Is it because it's more stamped on who you think is coming out of the West, as opposed to you wouldn't be surprised if you saw the 6th seed come out the East? Is that why?
Nah, it's more so because the West is going to be competitive too. The
Sure.
top 3 teams: Spurs, OKC, Denver. I think they're going to give. I think it's
Minnesota.
going to be a. I don't have Minnesota in that tier, but I mean, if
I
for the
do.
people
Well, I think
that
we should
do,
still
though,
acknowledge what they've done. You know?
Sure.
for the people that do though, that makes it even more competitive.
Mhm.
However, with the East, it's just like Detroit showed me that they were better than what I suspected they would be, and I can't use youth as a. I still will, but I can't hold youth as high in regard to how far I think that they'll go when we just seen OKC do it last year. So
I mean,
that,
Detroit doesn't have the same. They're 0-4 in the last 4 though, and their defense has been bad, and their offense has also been mid. So I think some of this is like
I can't judge them off the last 4 games though, Swiper. I mean, I can, but like not like because they're gonna play, but they have 18 more games left in the season.
Swipe, but didn't
So, what if
your
they win
Denver
the next
Nuggets
14?
in 23? Didn't your Denver Nuggets like drop their last 4 games? They went on a 4-game losing
no,
streak.
but remember they went on a 4-game losing streak, but they were 7 games clear of 1, and they just packed it in. Like that wouldn't. This Detroit team they're in place to lose to number 1 overall seed right now. Because the Celtics, if they keep winning, they're 2.5 games back.
Sure.
And the Celtics do have, we talked about this in Lockdown NBA last night. They do have OKC twice. So who knows what's going to happen with that? That could be 2 losses. But
right.
I'm not off the Celtics being the 1 seed at this point.
You think they can still get there?
It's only 2.5 games. Yeah, and if Detroit's offense is going to continue to do what it's doing right now outside of Cade, they can't buy a bucket at all. Like they can't score. And I think it's been a consistent issue, but it's been a really glaring issue as of late. Yeah, there is a real reality, man, that the Celtics could legitimately make a run, and maybe it just as Tatum gets like more used to the grind of the NBA game and all that, I just am duly impressed with what the Celtics are doing right now. There's a real opportunity for them to move into the 1 seed.
I'm actually surprised, Swiper, how ingratiated he just is in the Boston Celtics system. I know that might sound crazy because it's Jason Tatum and he already knows the system, but coming off the injury that he came off of, I was expecting a guy to be a little bit less involved and just more being out there, and he's a lot more involved than I thought he would be. And not only is he more involved than I thought he would be, he's a lot more effective than I thought he would be too. And I think that that's really helping the Boston Celtics, and it really helps their defense too, because like watching these guys shoot gaps yesterday, watching these guys play on-ball defense, I think and with Jason Tatum actually being able to stop plays by cleaning glass, I mean, I think that really helped them.
Yeah, we'll talk about the game, I imagine, at some point. He had a really good first quarter. Wasn't great rest of the game, but like I said to you, when he was coming back, to me, I don't really care. I think for him, I just want to see like how the rebounding looks, how his cutting looks, how his agility looks, how his driving looks. And, he's not like Tatum yet, when it comes to like his natural explosiveness, not even just talking about like dunking.
Yep.
But like, I am glad to see him that he is trusting his body and that he doesn't seem to have any lingering effects. Now, obviously, they wouldn't have done this if he wasn't 100% ready to play basketball. So that's not a new update. But I am very happy to see that he's able to move with the level of, let's say, assertiveness that you're looking for from Tatum. And so I think as time goes on and as like we get into May, he's going to be a completely different player by that point. But you can even just see like, having another athlete on the floor for them and another off option that the defense has to worry about. That is going to be a really viable option for them coming in. Like I said, man, like they get the 1 seed and they're playing the Hornets in the first round or something like that. As much as I like the Hornets, I think the Celtics are probably just going to walk through them. But I
handle them.
They just look good, man. Like I really can't say enough about what Tatum's done, man. I can't say enough about how the team has responded either. They've been juggernaut. And they mopped the Cleveland yesterday. Like,
yes, they did.
Mopped them. So
would it be because, and I think, Ron, to be honest with you, I think a lot of that had to do with how, and I know we're going to get into the fast break. I think we're going to get into the fast break breakdown later on. But the Celtics, they do a unique job, and they're very unique in the way of making you play the way that they want to play. And I do think that Cleveland is one of the better jump shooting teams in the league. They have guys like Sam Merrill, Wade, Donovan Mitchell. They got guys who can knock down shots on the perimeter. But to get into that kind of variance with a team like the Boston Celtics basically falls right into their lap. And on top of that, the way that Boston plays defense, Cleveland on the perimeter does not play defense like that. And I think that really affected their offense to the point where I feel like this Cleveland team looked really decimated. Now, Ron, I do think that we got a gap. And what I mean when I say that we got a gap, so from the top of the Eastern Conference with Boston, Detroit, and Cleveland, Boston, Detroit, Cleveland, and the Knicks. So those top 4 teams. And then we got Toronto, Orlando, Miami, and Philly. Like when I look at the Celtics and then I look at the Heat, I do think that there's a gap there. Just like when I look at the Knicks and I look at Orlando, I think that there's a gap there between those groups. And not just because of the seeding. I just think that the Knicks are better than Orlando. Offensively, they're just better than them. And defensively, the fact that they got Cat and his ability to rebound and stop plays, I think that they could, if they ended up seeing Orlando in round 1, I think that they handle them. But like I said, Ron, I'm really happy about what's going on in terms of the competitiveness in the Eastern Conference.
As far as the East, I know I've been kind of headstrong on the Knicks all year. Detroit almost swayed me there for a little bit, but I'm just not a believer in Detroit. I kind of said Detroit because people wanted me to. I'm not going to lie. I gave in the peer pressure a little bit. I just don't believe in that team. I don't believe in their talent. They need some more offensive weaponry before they can seriously contend, in my opinion. With Jason Tatum being back, oh, man, Jason Tatum is looking a lot better than what I thought he would look like already. Already a really good defender again. He's already doing a lot of the playmaking and passing for that team again. Struggling as a scorer, but he'll probably get that back as the games go along. I'm sticking with my pick, man. I'm sticking with the Knicks. I know the Lakers just kind of handled them yesterday, but the 38-point win against Denver, the smacking they gave them, was another reminder of, like, when this team hits their ceiling, I think this is the best team in the East. I like their offensive and defensive talent. And so I'm going to stick with my pick, man. I'm sticking with the New York Knicks coming out the East. But Boston's looking scary, y'all. Boston's looking scary.
It's only the Knicks in Boston, real talk.
I'm not mad at that.
And when I say that, I mean it's Boston.
Mm-hmm. I know that's what you meant. Uh-huh.
Big fella, welcome to the other side, big fella. When it comes to Jason Tatum, welcome to the other side, big fella.
Well, I wouldn't say welcome to the other side. I've been over here. Just because I'll be bigging up Jaylen Brown, you got to remember, Chill, I was trying to tell you when you was pushing back that, no, Jason Tatum is better than Luka Doncic. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to tell you. You know what I'm saying? Now, obviously, you are the Jason Tatum guy up here, 100%.
Yep.
But I've always been high on JT. This isn't a new revelation for me or anything. I've always been high on JT.
No, you
I
haven't.
just didn't know he.
$ Oz, light skinned soft boy, and no, you haven't. That's not true.
I wasn't. That's very true. That's very true.
We heard all of that. We heard.
Yeah, but all those things are true. All those things are true.
Okay.
I can still be high on the guy and admit that I think he was scared of Jimmy Butler. Like, what's wrong with that? But the only thing is, Chill, I just didn't know he was my favorite player in the NBA.
Imagine that, yo. Imagine that.
I didn't know until 3 days ago that Jason Tatum was my favorite player. You know what I'm saying? I got Kawhi Leonard level fandom for Jason Tatum.
Imagine
I didn't know
that,
that.
yo.
I had no Kawhi Leonard fandom for only Kawhi Leonard.
I had no idea until Friday. I felt this way about Jason Tatum. You know what I'm saying? This is the type of shit I live for. I love this type of shit. This is what I'm here for, man. Shout out to Jason Tatum and the Boston Celtics, the Eastern Conference Finals champions.
Eastern Conference champion. I like that. I ain't going that far, but I like it. I do like it.
How are we feeling about the Raptors? We can have a genuine Raptors discussion, right? With us guys.
Hey, Mars, come back, Mars. Mars, don't do that to us, Mars. Stay right with us, Mars. Don't do that. See, Mars, stay with us. And his wife, Mars, just asked me a question. Mars literally just asked me a question. Mars, why when we bring up the Toronto when we bring up the Toronto Raptors, are you out? Like there's no questions to ask. Why, when it comes to the playoffs and it comes to the Toronto Raptors, Mars, why are you OUT out?
They can't score the basketball.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is we don't need to have a whole segment on. They can't put the ball in the basket. They can't shoot. They don't have consistent half court creation. Most of their half court creation in terms of scoring is going to come from Brandon Ingram, who I like, but no disrespect. When all your shot creation comes from the mid range, yeah, that's not really going to be tenable in environments where teams. Yeah, when teams are able to shoot threes and your team can't, and your most reliable creator is a shoot over the top in the mid-range creator, yeah, you're not going to score enough in the playoffs. I think their defense is cool. I like Scottie Barnes. They still haven't had consistent big play the whole year, but the whole roster can't shoot. Like it's like imagine Detroit, but like instead of Cade, it's Scottie Barnes.
Which is where I was going, Miles, because to your point about them not being able to put the ball in the bucket, can't we say the same thing about Detroit? Like, what's the difference between the two of them?
Detroit have a better defense, and instead of Scottie Barnes, they have Cade.
A better bucket getter.
That's the difference. And I'm saying instead of Scottie Barnes offensively, I'm not talking about what Scottie Barnes does defensively. Offensively, instead of Scottie Barnes, they have Cade. That's the difference. So the formula is actually kind of similar. And it's another reason why I think not believing in Detroit to win a title is fine. But they're doing the formula better than Toronto does it. I think the most impressive thing about Toronto is that like they force turnovers and stuff. So like that's cool. But they don't rebound. So like they don't even win the possession battle by like a huge margin in the first place because of that. So I don't know.
That is a problem. That is a problem.
Shout out to the Raptors.
Ron, I think they got some good. I do think they got some good rotation guys. I'm a huge Mamu fan. Mamu, every time he comes on the floor, I just feel like something good's gonna happen with him. But the more I watch Toronto, I still think that the biggest problem is in the paint. And I'm still standing on it that if they had a legit 5-man, and again, an all-star, not an all NBA caliber big, if they had an all-star caliber big, I think that they would be much better because I think that would supplement a lot of their issues. They'd be better in second chance opportunities. They'd be better on the glass. They'd be better on the defensive glass. I think they would be better in the post in terms of getting buckets and around the rim. I think that would open up some things more for them offensively. I think that's their biggest problem. And on top of that, I feel like I'm in the minority, but with the more I watch Quigley, I mean, I think he's a fine point guard. But if you're trying to go deep into the playoffs, I think that you need a headier point guard than him. And I don't think I don't think that he's that. Yeah, I don't think that he's that. So
man, this ain't got
that's the thing that I worry about with Toronto.
Quigley, their best player isn't good enough. Let's just keep it okay. Their best player is not a good enough player for them to go anywhere as a playoff team. It just is
when your best player isn't good enough, the complementary players have to make up for that. So I think it's both.
Yes, they do.
Well, I mean,
their best player is not good enough. Therefore, the complementary guys have to pick up, but they're not good enough to pick up. So it's like they're just not good enough.
Yes, but you would like for your best player to be good enough. That's usually where it starts. Typically.
That's absolutely
when your best player is 24, you can kind of be, like it is what it is. Now, I'm not projecting he'll ever be good enough. No, I'm not doing that. But when your best player is
like 24-year-olds can't be.
I mean,
I'm not mistaken. Isn't Ant 24 years old?
But this is Scottie Barnes. I don't know what to tell you. They can, but this is Scottie
Luka was 24 when he got to the finals.
Yeah, now look, he's not a winning player apparently. So,
well, that's a lie. But
but yes, I don't project Scottie Barnes to be like, especially offensively, that level of player. But Toronto still can be a good regular season team, and they are a good regular season team, but they're just not. It depends on the matchups. If they get out the first round, I'd say that's successful. Well, I think them just being out the play-in is successful. Like in the top 6, I think that's a successful season. So win or lose, I think they've had a good year. Yeah, I think they've had a good year. But if they can get out the first round, I think that's huge for them. And then they can find out who they need to move on from, who they're building with, all of that stuff. But yeah, shout out to Toronto.
All right, so it's 3 more teams that I really want to talk about. And they're all on winning streaks right now. The first one, the 60.
So not Philly. Yep, so not Philly. Cool.
Oh, well, We could talk about Philly. But the first one is the 6th seed, just below the Raptors. They're only a game behind the Raptors out the 5 seed. They're on a 4-game winning streak, 7-3 in their last 10. And Paolo is hooping.
He is.
How are we feeling about the Orlando Magic now that we're in March and things look a little different? I remember before the season, some people were high on them. Is that feeling starting to come back?
Ox, we would have been right if they were healthy. I'm standing on that.
Oh my
Hey,
God.
look, no.
Absolutely.
Bro, the way that I just watched that whole game against Minnesota Saturday.
You've seen that, Bill.
It looked, that's what we were anticipating seeing from the Orlando Magic.
Right.
They present a problem for most teams with their size, pause, you know what I'm saying, if need be.
That
But
does
like
not need a
usually
pause. You
what
good.
I
You
see
can follow
Minnesota
me.
do to most teams, which is like out athlete them, outsize them, you know what I'm saying? They did that to Minnesota. Like Mo Wagner, like Julius could not do anything with him. Paulo was out there looking 6'10", 250. Paulo as a screener, roller, post-up player, hey, that guy's kind of elite. I'm not going to lie. When he's doing those 3 things, it looks really good. And Desmond Bane, I don't know if people know this, but Desmond has been hooping lately.
I don't really know what to do with him, real talk.
So they
I
got
really
to
don't.
scoring. Tristan Da Silva made a lot of winning plays in that game. D-Up, their defense was phenomenal that game as well. Orlando would have been really good if they could have stayed healthy, man. It just, man,
Last
they have
year,
been
too.
dealing with injuries for like 2-3 years now. You know what I'm saying? But
I really don't know
they're
what to
still
do
not
with
going to
Desmond
win
Bane, real
anything,
talk.
but salute to him.
I mean, you brought up a really interesting point about Desmond Bane. I really just don't know what to do with him. He has such an unorthodox game. He's got an unorthodox build. But like he gets it done. He knocks down open shots. He will defend. Like he can get to the rim. Like he doesn't play above the rim, but you know what he will do? He will finish at the rim. He's not, I don't know. He's not a Sore Thompson on defense, but he will poke the ball away. He will disrupt. He will do things like that. He's not Steph Curry or he's not one of the best but he will knock down an open shot. He will make tough shots. I really don't know what to do with him, but I do know that this team, had they stayed healthy, to your point, real talk, I had them as the 3 seed before the season started. That's where I had them at, and had France and Suggs and those guys all been able to hold up, I think we would be looking at a different team. I think Jamal Mosley, I think this might be his last season in Orlando. That offense needs to change. That offense 100% needs to change, I think.
Ox, you liking Orlando a little bit more now?
I mean, I've liked Orlando the same way all season. It's just health. I think Orlando's only issue these past 2 seasons has just been health. You know, that's it.
So you and Real Talk weren't wrong. It was just they weren't healthy.
I mean, we were wrong technically, you know, because that's just the way that the cards, you know, were played or dealt out. But, you know, we've been more right than wrong this year. So,
do you know what this sound like? She came around that first time. She was all glammed up. She was fly. She had her good shoes on. She had her hair done. All of that stuff. Hey, she was in a sundress. It was like, damn. The next 2 times she came around, it was after work, you know. So
stinking bitch, you could smell it. You could smell the funk on her. Like, oh man, did you shower today? Did you
after
brush
work
your
though?
teeth?
You know, she just worked a 10-hour shift, so you know, like she had her scrubs on. You know, hair wasn't really looking all that.
I love scrubs.
I love a scrub. Hey,
yeah, come on,
look
man.
at
Shit.
By the way,
She didn't have her scrubs on. She had her name tag on.
Desmond
But
Bane.
the thing about that though, Ron, is like that don't got nothing to do with me. Like that's all. You know what I'm saying? That's all her. Like she was fine. You know what I'm saying? Now she not. It was
Desmond Bane over the
that's
last 20
completely
games,
out of
by
my
the way,
control.
he's
But
averaging.
then you seen
he's
her back
averaging-
again, and she was, you know,
Desmond Bane's
Still ain't
averaging
got nothing to do with me.
23 and a half points per game on the last 20 games, over 71 true shooting. Only Jokic and SJ have scored it as well for that long.
Getting busy.
Since November 22nd, he's averaging 21.5 on 50, 40, 90.
Getting busy.
But see, like
So he had a
like,
slow start to the year, but since then,
And that was,
that's 47 games, by the way.
That's
So
more than half the
since the
season.
slow start to the year,
That's
he's
more than half
been-
the season.
Yeah,
That's great.
he's been amazing.
Yeah, shout out
And
But
I keep
the
telling you
thing-
to do
like,
with Desmond Bane,
the
and you
thing
keep
with,
not
like,
listening to me, so I don't know.
a team like Orlando though, like that's the thing though, Ron. Like for me and Real Talk, and we do this so much, and it's kind of like, and Swipe, I know you can relate to this because it happens to you a lot. Well, not a lot because you support a good basketball team, so I won't say it happens to you a lot. But it's like just because I had a team being good and they weren't, and like something went wrong or something happened in this game or that game, like you can't throw that in my face. Like I wasn't out there.
I wasn't necessarily saying that as a.
You know what I mean? Like I
that
wasn't
wasn't
on the court with the
slanders.
niggas.
All I was saying is it sounded like I was just making an analogy, which most of us in the chat can, all of us in the chat can relate to it, regardless of who you like. You seen somebody, the first day you seen them, the first impression was like, damn. Then the next couple times it was like, maybe it was just that day, maybe it was just the way I was feeling. And then I just seen you recently, and it's like, oh, okay. Nah, I wasn't tripping. You like that. That's all I'm saying. Like, I'm higher on Orlando right now too than I was in the beginning of the season.
Right. It's crazy because like that's what I'm saying, Swipe, but like all week last week, they was on your line like you don't play defense or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Swipe ain't the buffet line. You know what I'm saying?
But that's where we live, though, Ox. We live in a space where like you are the guy who knows basketball, and you are the guy who, to Swiper's point, you watch the Denver Nuggets. You're ingratiated in Denver Nuggets basketball, so you should know better than anybody how the Denver Nuggets are. And if you're wrong about them, how dare you, Swiper, be wrong about the Denver Nuggets? You've been around them for as long as you've been around them. So, I mean, I think as fans, they can be a little bit ridiculous from time to time.
It's the panel. Religion get built on cam. Where the check throw smoke and the host go ham. You ain't never seen hoops all hit the raw. Every take got weight, every night we drop. This that barbershop. Courtside, worldwide tone. Welcome to the only show that really feel like numbers jumping like the score.